What's up everybody, Travis Bogart here at Above the Rest Training Systems in Cheyenne, Wyoming, head coach and owner. We are talking about the Pallof Press today, specifically the hip hike Pallof Press. If you guys haven't seen it already, the Pallof Press is an anti-rotation exercise. It uses a band and leverage and things to kind of train the system to fight rotation. We're incorporating a hip hike into it to help those that are kind of coming back from hip stuff or maybe have some kind of hip imbalances to really kind of nail that out as they progress into bigger movements like squats and deadlifts. Before we get started, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell so you don't miss anything coming out of Above the Rest Training Systems. To perform this exercise, you guys are going to need a box. It doesn't need to be anything crazy, it just needs to be able to elevate you up off the ground. At the same time, we're going to be attaching a band probably about shoulder height while I'm on the box. So this is actually a little bit low. We're going to raise this up. And then when it comes to setting up the angle of this, guys, I want the band to be attached at a right angle to where my arm is going to be at the end of my Pallof press. This way the band can get a good amount of leverage on me and I really have to work hard to overcome the band. To perform the exercise, you're going to take your band. I've got a nice little D handle. You can just use the straight band if you'd like. We're going to hop up on the box, and now with one foot hanging off, I'm going to hike that foot up, not using my obliques, but using my hip on this side. I'm going to take this hip and I'm going to shove it over to lift that hip. I'm going to hold that position with a big strong foot, contraction of the leg. From here I'm going to perform my Pallof press. So I'm going to extend with a nice slow steady tempo all the way out, and then I'm going to bring it, oh watch your bounce, and then I'm going to bring it right back in with that same slow and steady tempo. Out, in, out, in. Nice and easy, right? Now, as I go to perform this, there are 4 positions that I can perform this from, right? This one is gonna be pulling me to my right with my left foot on the box. With my right foot on the box, I also wanna perform the Pallof. So, find your balance, big strong foot, and again, out, in, out, in. Now, swing around. For the other leg, right, we're gonna switch the box. Up here. Now the band is effectively attached at my left. We perform the same exercise. Boom, hike, strong foot, strong leg, out, in, right? Awesome. The most common mistakes that you're gonna see when you see an athlete performing this exercise is that they're gonna try to twist into the band, right? Instead of keeping their body square on the box, they're gonna kind of twist into it. And this is gonna allow them to lean into the band and take some of the effort off of the anti-rotational mechanisms in the hip. So we wanna make sure that we're not rotating out here and make sure that we're staying square with the press. Using that hip to keep everything right where it needs to be. The second common mistake that we see when athletes go to perform this exercise is that they move too fast, right? We'll usually prescribe a tempo of like a 3-second out, 3-second back, maybe a pause at the extension. If you have these tempos and you're not good at them, get a metronome, get some kind of a timer, get something to help you keep it nice and slow. The whole way that this works is that the band is increasing leverage over my anti-rotation capacity, right? The further I go out here, the stronger the band is to pull me over. If I go too fast, I don't expose myself to the load and I'm not getting anything out of the exercise. The last common mistake that we see is athletes will use their obliques and their core musculature to lift the hip instead of using the glute med to stabilize the hip, right? Both systems are capable of lifting my hip here. I can use my obliques and crunch it up, or I can take this hip and I can drive it up underneath me. For the sake of this exercise, we want to work on the hip driving and locking the hip and locking the glute to keep the anti-rotation intact. Don't let yourself fall into the trap of keeping that hip out and then just kind of hiking up this and ending up in this weird cock position, right? Big strong hip, drives all the way through, and this is where we're gonna press from. As far as programming goes, we like this movement as both a warm-up and a finisher in a workout. If we have athletes that are struggling with hip stuff, whether it be a hip shift or any kind of rotational stuff when we're looking at bilateral movements, this becomes a good corrective exercise that we can implement early, that we can implement at the end, either way. 4 to 5 sets is a little bit excessive. We want to keep it right in that 2 to 3 set range because you do have 4 directions to expose yourself to. Instead of making more sets, more reps, more sets, more reps, extend the tempo. Go from 3 seconds to 5 seconds. Get a bigger band, get a different handle, right? Vary it up in those ways instead of trying to add volume to this exercise. At the end of the day, when we are performing back squats or deadlifts or anything like that, we're only performing them for a few seconds at a time. So stick with specificity, increase the complexity, increase the difficulty before we increase the volume. Guys, that's it for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. You're not gonna wanna miss anything coming out of Above the Rest Training Systems. We're building out our exercise library with everything, man. Tips, tricks, common mistakes. You're not gonna wanna miss any of it, guys. We'll catch you in the next video.